I am going to watch the trailer of Ponniyan Selvan Part 2. I did not like the first one. It was a pain to get through for me. I'm not familiar with the story of which the movie is based on. I found it to be a lot of telling, not showing. And so in regards to people, I don't really learn people's names in terms of movies. I might pick it up. I might remember somebody's names, but usually, you remember it's that guy or it's that actor or his role in the movie. It's like the police guy. In regards to context of what they're saying, you know who they're talking about. This movie was a lot of talking about people and they weren't showing the people. And then also for me, the names are long, so I wasn't really retaining the names that they were saying. Because I'm thinking, okay, I'll see the guy. And sometimes we went a long period of time before we saw the person who they were referring. Because it is a Tamil film, I'm not familiar with a majority of the actors in the movie. Not really understanding what was happening. So what I ended up doing was going to Wikipedia and just reading the plot up to where the movie was, and then I would continue to watch the movie, and then I would read more of the plot because either it just wasn't doing a good job of telling the story to me, or I just wasn't following. And also the other thing is that the majority of the men all look alike, so sometimes I didn't know who was who. At one point I went to the cast and they said Prakash Raj was in the movie. I said, Prakash Raj? And I pressed play on the movie, and that same scene, Prakash Raj was in the scene. So I don't know if he was in the movie earlier or if this was his first scene. I don't know if I didn't recognize him or he just showed up in the film. I don't know. I found it to be boring, and even reading the story, it really didn't take my interest. And there were also two technical aspects that bothered me. One more than the other. This movie is dubbed. I don't mind dubbed into other languages. I don't watch movies dubbed into other languages, but I don't understand why movies are still being dubbed in their original languages. You're telling me South India, Tamil film industry has improved in so many different ways in terms of special effects and production value, but we're still dubbing in 2023? I don't get it. And I felt like the dubbing was quite obvious. Like some of the audio, in terms of the people felt like they weren't in the same room. They weren't in that same scene. And then there'll be parts in which people are talking and the mouths aren't synced to me. And so it was distracting. There's a monologue scene with Vikram, which is a big moment, but I was so distracted by the dubbing. I did not like that. And then also when Aishwarya Rai talked the first time, I said, that's not Aishwarya Rai's voice. So I looked it up. It was dubbed. But then something else blew my mind. Destroyed some kind of fantasy I never knew. I read an article that said like Trisha has been dubbed for most of her career. I said, what? What? I thought that was her voice. How did I not know that? And then I also found out like for most, if not all of Aishwarya's Tamil films, she's been dubbed. I never knew that. I never realized that. It went into a whole rabbit hole of Tamil and Telugu actresses are dubbed, and I had no idea because I'm watching movies saying like, God, the dubbing's bad, not realizing that the actress is being dubbed by somebody else. I thought the dubbing was distracting. And then the other thing, in terms of Aishwarya Rai, I found like the lighting to be weird. There's certain moments in which lighting adds to the environment, the ambiance, it makes sense, but I felt like she would get a light treatment that was different from the other people in that scene to me. Especially one scene where they're outside. Aishwarya Rai looked like a ghost behind the guy. There's one scene in which like there's this yellow light upon her, which she looks ethereal. She looks gorgeous. But I felt like they were lighting her like that in scenes in which it didn't make sense. So that's just personal opinion. I didn't like the movie. I did not like the movie. And play.
கோடியக்கரையிலிருந்து செய்தி வந்திருக்கிறது. அருள்மொழியை கடல் விழுங்கி விட்டதாம். அடுத்த பட்டத்துக்குரியவர்
இளவரசே, கொள்ளிடம் நதிக்கு தெற்கே உள்ள பகுதியை மதுராந்தக தேவருக்கும் வடக்கே உள்ள பகுதியை உங்களுக்கும் பிரித்து கொடுத்தால் அது நியாயமாக இருக்கும்.
நம் முதல் எதிரி ஆதித்த கரிகாலன் அருண்மொழியின் மரண செய்தி கேட்டு மதம் பிடித்த யானை போல் கிளம்பி வந்து கொண்டிருப்பான்.
கொடுத்த காரியத்தை முடித்து விட்டாய் தோழா. வானர் பரம்பரை சுத்த வீர பரம்பரை.
இளவரசே, ஒரு நல்ல செய்தியோட வந்திருக்கேன் இளவரசே.
அப்பா, அருண்மொழி இலங்கையில் ஒரு ஊமை அரசியை பார்த்தானாம். சொல்லுங்கள், அந்த ஊமை அரசி யார்?
நந்தினி.
கரிகாலன் கடம்பூரில் என் கைகளால் கொல்லப்படுவார்.
கரிகாலன் கடம்பூருக்கு வருவான் என்பது என்ன நிச்சயம்?
வரச் சொல்லியது நான்.
இதுவரை திரைமறைவிலிருந்து செய்ததை முடிசூட்டிக் கொண்டு செய்ய போகிறேன்.
அரசரை எதிர்த்தார். சோழ நாட்டை உடைக்கவா கட்டளை?
சோழ நாட்டை பிரித்துக் கொடுக்க வேண்டும். சோழ நாட்டை பிரிக்க வேண்டும். பெற்ற தாயின் ஒரு மார்பை வெட்டி எடுத்துக் கொள்ள என்கிறீர்கள்.
கொல்வோம். சோழ குலத்தையே வேரோடு அழிப்போம்.
That looks like a fine and dandy movie. That actually looks really epic. It looks really cool. This whole setup for a big war. Who will be victorious? I actually don't know in the type of movie if they will actually lose. It feels like a movie in which one of the main characters, one of the good guys essentially, could die. It has that kind of feel to me. Because it would lead to some like really poetic prose and his death would be cinematic. Oh, and it also has fantasy in regards to how we left off and the Aishwarya Rise is playing like a dual character. I don't know where that came from. That came out of nowhere because the movie overall felt more like historic, right? And then suddenly came this fantasy aspect, which I didn't expect. The same thing I said, that dubbing is so distracting. When I watched the first part, I would sometimes just read the words. I would not even look at the people. I would glance up, but when they were talking, I would just read the words. It was so distracting. Did you not see that moment in which Vikram is talking and his mouth is off? There's another moment in which somebody's talking and they don't seem like they're in the room. It just feels like he's not there. And then the other thing, which I will say this is partly my fault. I don't remember who's who. I don't know who's who's. I don't know who Ponniyan, I don't know who's Selvan. I don't even know if those are names. I think they're names. I think with John Ravi. I don't recall. I don't remember. I will have to definitely reread the plot from Wikipedia of the first part. But it's a lot of twists and turns and there's a lot of betrayal. And I don't know. And I feel like in this trailer, you see how they're talking about other people? They're just talking about other people. I didn't know who they're talking about. I don't know who's who. I don't. Look at the lighting on the Aishwarya Rai. You see how she is completely lighted like that? And you can explain this by saying, okay, they're in a room filled with candles. Okay, fine, right? Look at her lighting. Look at his lighting. Look at his lighting. That's the stuff that was like bothering me. Does that not look strange to you? Her face is fully lit. He's allowed to have lines. And I know they added that scar for emphasis, but his face is allowed to look like skin. Her skin does not look like skin. Am I looking forward to this? No. But I'll watch it.